G'day and welcome back to If Not Now. This episode's a little different. We're boosting down from Denmark to WA to see my old man before he embraces traveller life and retires. Don't worry though, we won't be skipping over WA and plan to work our way back up the coast exploring this epic state properly. After completing our monster drive through WA, around 16 hours to give you some perspective, we arrive at Dad's place in Denmark, WA. And the water here is so clear because if you were to draw a straight line from the beach, the next major landmass you'd hit would be Antarctica. Yes, the waters here do get cold in winter, but the benefit of all this is clear, sapphire blue water that seems to be at every beach, bay and river along this coastline. Thankfully, we're here in summer, so we get to experience this place at its absolute best. To quote my old man, he said, "I can't afford to retire, but I also can't afford not to," which is a poignant statement because who knows how much time we really have in life. To quote the Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, he answered, "Man," because he sacrifices his health in order to make money, then he sacrifices his money to recuperate on his health, and then he is also so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present, and the result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then he dies having never really lived. Nice and tight.
This is awesome. Well done, you.
Hi.
See you, buddy.
Yeah,
Go wide because obviously you.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do a bit of a reverse.
Because I thought your van could go here.
Yeah. Sweet. Thanks, Dad.
Hey, come here, you. Come on, you big bullhead. How are you, my son?
How you doing?
Good to see you, man. Really good to see you. It's been last time I saw you was at your wedding, wasn't it? Look at you.
Nice mo, by the way.
Yeah, do you like that? I'm Hercule Poirot, you see.
I was going to say, you look like Captain Hook.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any hair, so I thought I'd do something with my moustache. So there you are.
That's why I'm growing the beard. That balances it.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, Dad was very excited to show us around and give us a tour of why he decided to live here and what makes this place so special. Now, most of the time we spent visiting, we spent catching up, and I will admit, not filming, but we couldn't resist showing you some of the places we fell in love with while staying with Dad. For those of you who don't know, Denmark is not just a place in Europe, it's actually a small coastal town near the bottom of WA where time seems to stand still. Check out this view. It's absolutely nuts. Look at that. So, we haven't swapped the van for a house. We're settling down. Our van's actually parked down in the garden here, and we're staying at my dad's place, and this is the view from his balcony. Straight across to the Wilson Inlet, and yeah, out to the ocean. Not a bad spot. Not a bad spot to put up a van, eh?
No, it's really nice.
And we've got the van down there hooked up to power and water. So, I mean, if Dad wasn't leaving this place to go on his own adventure around Australia, I think we could stay here a very long time. But more about that later because Dad's got a bit of a surprise. He's, I don't know if it's a surprise, he's doing the full van life spec travel. He's bought himself a black Mercedes Sprinter van,
really
four-wheel
cool
drive,
rig.
Very cool, like, you know, your dream vehicle, and that's his retirement. He's just going to cruise around Australia, doing similar thing to what we're doing, but just in style, I guess.
Infinitely.
Perpetually travel, yeah. No end date in sight. So that's really cool. So we're staying with him for a little while, helping him get ready, helping him sell all his possessions and get on the road. And then we're going to cruise down to Esperance, Albany, Esperance, and then back up the WA coast. Maybe checking in with him along the way. But anyway, it's a beautiful day, so we might get into it.
Yep.
Let's do it. So we're about a couple hundred meters, maybe even a K into the 8.6K cycle that we're doing along the WOW track here, which is also the Bibbulmum track, and that runs all the way along the south coast. But we're only doing a small section of it that you can bike on from Lights Beach behind us to the other end, Ocean Beach. And there's a really cool wind farm with 2 turbines in the distance. So you kind of know where to go as long as you keep them roughly in front of you, you're on the right track. And the whole track seems to be through these really cool wildflowers, sort of coastal bushland, which are all about half a meter off the ground, and just this mat of green, which is really, really cool. Everywhere you look, you see details of different plants and different structure. So I think I'm gonna really enjoy this. I'm gonna have to stop a lot with my camera, but that's why we do it. So we've just put the bikes up there and arrived at Back Beach. Now I'm not sure from the sign this is a beach we can swim at, but we figured we might be able to just dip our legs in, get a little bit cooled off because we've been cycling for a while now and it's been getting progressively hotter. But look at this beach. How cool is that? Got the cliffs behind me, stretching all the way back to Lights, and then this big step all the way down.
In my mouth is a desert, running dry, throw around. I could never, I can taste your.
We've gotten down to Back Beach. I think I will actually obey the sign that says swimming not advised today, because there's a shore dump and strong currents. There's a bit of power in that ocean today.
So full of emotion. You're tall as the ocean. So full of emotion. You're tall as the.
This is a Sunday in summer and there is no one on the beach. We're finding this pretty much everywhere we go in Western Australia, but particularly down the southwest coast. Even on the weekends, the beaches pretty much get them all to yourself.
You're tall as the ocean, and I can't touch the floor. So full of emotion, I can't keep any more. Are we out of time?
Pretty cool.
Yeah?
Trying to balance this long lens though. It's really heavy to keep up. I feel, and like each breath I can see it moving. I definitely need to put it on a tripod.
Sadly, there's always plastic, even on the most remote beaches. Shame, full of water. Not sure how long it's been here for, but it's gonna come with us.
I will wait, I hold my breath till that turn blue, that turn blue, that turn blue, that turn blue, that turn blue. You're tall as the ocean, so full of emotion.
How are you finding this? These
Brutal.
steps?
I'm sure coming down these steps wasn't as hard, obviously. It didn't feel like it was quite so long when you're coming down. Going back up, you feel every single step.
Yeah. Hydration?
Yeah, but the bottle I borrowed from Dad, I had no idea. But And I don't think I've done this on the way because there's like cracks on both sides. There's a sizable crack on that side and, you know, on that side. So as soon as you get a drink from that bottle, all your water, all your water just drains out. So
you think you drank a whole bottle, but you probably drank, I don't know, half maybe?
I reckon most of it's on the track somewhere behind us. So I'm gonna be using your camelback.
Yeah. I like sharing it. It's nice when something I've got is useful for others as well as myself.
That's why I bought it for you, eh?
Yeah, it's our camelback.
Our camelback. And now I just need to come close to you anytime I want to drink it and do that. So I have to literally come this close to you. But it's like doing like a beer bong at high school.
You couldn't be closer to my boob if you tried.
I just want the water. We're not going to do this anywhere where there's people around. It's just too weird.
Well, look at that. You know what's out there? You know what the next landmass is?
Arctic? Antarctic? One of them?
Yeah, which one's the one at the south?
The bottom?
Yeah.
Antarctic.
Yay!
Yeah? Is it?
Yeah. So there's no other land out there except for the Antarctic. It's just too steep. Didn't get big enough of a run up, so I'm just gonna walk this one to the top.
We've gotten to the end. Well, not quite the end of our cycle because we've still got to make our way back. But we've gotten to the windmills. Wind farm?
Yeah, wind farm.
Turbines. I'll go with turbines. And they're absolutely massive. You can hear them above us. So that's the base of it there. It's easy to think they're pretty small from a distance, but when you get right up to it, you can see why it produces so much power. Very, 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 very cool.
Really making the most of how much wind you get on this part.
There is a ridiculous amount of wind this time of year in WA coastline. We had planned to take a dip in the pristine waters of the prawn channel on our ride back to the house, but unfortunately when we got there it had been closed due to a shark spotting. This place is usually a popular spot for families and small children as it is calm and protected from the waves. However, not when a bronze whaler has got himself trapped in it after swimming up on the incoming tide. This morning we're up early as Dad is taking us on a tour of the bays and beaches that often make an appearance on Instagrams of travellers. Hey, full car. So we have woken up at an ungodly hour of about 5:30 this morning. We actually woke up at 5 and then snoozed till 5:30 and then got up to the house, had a coffee and then woke Dad up. So it's probably closer to 6 now. But we got old Marky Mark, my dad, in the car, and we're both wearing hats so you can distinguish us apart, because if we took them off we'd look very similar. It's probably scary, although he's got a much better Poirot moustache?
Yeah, Poirot. This is mini me, by the way.
Inspector Poirot. And so we're heading out. Dad's being our guide for the day because he's been living in the Denmark area for about 8 years?
Yeah.
8 years, and he's going to take us to kind of 3 of his favourite beaches. They are the touristy beaches, so I know he'll caveat it with that, but they are some of the best beaches around Denmark.
We're going to a place post-terrorist time when the tourists have left Denmark to see the spectacular greens pools, elephant rocks, a wilderness walk through the Wilson National Park,
to Waterfall and Madfish Bay, and I'll explain a little bit of the natural history and some of the sites along the way.
So we just went through all those nice dirt tracks and the sort of secret locals way, and you were saying that all those trees are karri trees?
Yeah, they're karris. The karri trees are actually the third largest tree in the world. You've got the American sequoia, then you've got the mountain ash, which is primarily in Queensland, and then you've got the karri trees here in southwestern Western Australia. They're very tall, they have really large canopies, and they have silver bark. An interesting thing, the Nunga people of southwestern Australia, we know in this area when they start to shed their bark, the Indigenous people, First Nations people know that that's when the salmon start to run. Western Australian salmon that come across the coast, and the salmon fish and go out for hunting at that time of the year. So the natural history is linked very much with the movement of people traditionally.
It's like having a walking encyclopedia. Get ready for another one of Marky Mark's facts along the way, because I think there'll be a few.
Okay, here we're in William Bay National Park. We're starting at Greens Falls, which is actually named after a gentleman who came back shell-shocked from the Second World War, and had a little shack here and looked after it nominally for the national parks, but it is very green, hence the confusion, named after the colour. Watching the lane swimmers a la naturel in Greens Falls. Makes me quite giddy watching it, to be honestly. I feel like I should be out there with them, although I'm quite happy on dry land this morning.
Heading to Elephant Rocks. So named because?
Well, there's a bunch of really nice granite boulders. Actually, it's called Nice. GNEISS. Here we are. These are really symbolic of a herd of elephants going in the same direction. I think it's quite distinctive, but you need a bit of imagination as well. Yeah, it's a well-known spot. Hence named Elephant Rocks.
Can you make it out, sir?
Yeah, I can. Is that right, Mark?
Yep.
That's the baby there.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's the male or female, but the elephant in the middle has got a hump, like a camel.
Yes, that's the bull elephants and the cow elephants. Get the right terminology.
Oh, okay.
There you are, you see. But the interesting, the bull's got a hump on its back, so it's kind of like a camel, really.
Yeah.
This is so cool. So you come down these little wooden steps that bring you down through the granite boulders, and then you walk around the corner and you quite literally squeeze through this tiny little gap between two massive pieces of granite, and then it brings you out literally on the water. So your feet do get a little bit wet, but on the beach of Elephant Rocks. How cool is this? This is such a unique place.
Oh my god! Fuck, this is insane! What an entrance.
You just wanna hold it, don't wanna swim it over. It feels like you got it. You want your roller coaster. Don't ask me about my freedom. Don't ask me about my wisdom. You want it, you need it, but why?
Righto, Marky Mark. So we've gotten to Stream Beach, and that's the sort of path there in front of me. Now you're saying a lot of the tourists kind of stop here because they see that sort of granite cliff there and decide it's not worth it.
They can't see a way through. No, they come as far as here, turn around and go back to the car park at Greenspools Elephant Rocks. But we're being a bit more adventurous, following the path less travelled, making our way into the national park through a route that really is only walked by people like me, or us, and the occasional fisherman fishing for herring.
We'll follow you up through the little goats trail behind you. What have you found?
I found a bit of booty, a bit of treasure. It's the marble water bottle. Maybe they weren't so marvellous after all.
What a marvel to behold.
Indeed. Oh, the puns, they just flow this day, don't they?
That sounded so English. The puns, they just flow this day. Okay, so I've taken the old shoes off and stashed them in a bush. Hopefully I remember where it is so I can get them on the way back. But I think shoes off on this granite is going to be a lot easier than what my Adidas shoes were giving me. I almost slipped in the water 2 or 3 times trying to get waves, seaweed and birds. So let's see if it pays off. So we've gotten to the unofficial, and I'd say Dad just made it up, Hamburger Rock behind me, which I can see it. You got the two patties, or you got the patty on top, and then you got all the filling, tomatoes, meat, lettuce, and then the very massive bun on the bottom.
Yeah, and that oozy yellow cheese coming down the sides.
Yeah, and the little like lava flow of yellow cheese coming down the side. Or maybe we just haven't had any food yet today and we're fasting, so we're just seeing food where there isn't. Hey, woohoo! Made it. Come on, old man. Oh, geez, that was a soft high five.
No, I'm getting old.
So Dad was just telling us why this very cool protected bay, one of many that we've already gone past. I think every time we go over a headland, we see another perfectly little swimming bay, but I think this one we're actually all gonna jump in, do a bit of a snorkel. But you were saying why it's called Madfish Bay.
Yeah, it's not because the fish are mad, although they could be, I don't know.
Is there mad fish?
I'm not a fish psychologist. Back in the day, the Nunga, Aboriginal people of this area, the Minang people actually, their tribe, would trap fish here at low tide. So that the salmon, the Western Australian salmon that come through here at certain times of the year, they knew when that was going to happen, and they trap them in this bay and spear them and have a great feast.
Is this the one they did it with the hazel?
No, in small enclosed areas they used to put hazel leaf and scrunch it up and put it in the water. It released a native or a simple organic toxin which would stun the fish. They'd float to the surface and they'd either spear them or just pick them off the surface.
And you can see why it'd be perfect conditions for fish to congregate all the way along. One way in and then one way out that gets submerged as the beach comes up at low tide. I've noticed your legs have a few cuts on them from scrambling.
Yeah, that was a poorly judged rock jump that I didn't quite make.
If you're thinking about coming here, yes, you can drive to each one of these bays, not the ones in the middle, and do it by car. Be lazy, do what the terrorists, Dad calls them, or the tourists do. Or you can start it. Sophie's just put her hands to her face and is laughing, so I don't know if that'll make the edit. But you can do what the locals do, or maybe just the crazy old men do, where you just walk along, starting at Green Pools, hit Elephant Rocks, and end up at Madfish. And if you've got someone to pick you up, then you can do that. Unlike us, who has to walk all the way back. But it's a bloody nice walk, so I'm not too upset about that. Anyway, time for a swim.
This is a good spot to like go from to snorkel.
I reckon we put our stuff somewhere here.
Yeah, I'm happy to stay here with the stuff.
Walk around.
I'll stay here with the stuff. I'll just out in the water while you do stuff.
Now he's retired, he apparently doesn't go for swims anymore.
We've got a bad
He's got
shoulder.
all the time in the world to go for swims, he doesn't need to go today.
I've got a painful shoulder.
I think you just take the re out of it and he's just tired. That's just tired.
Cheeky one.
Tired for the rest of his life.
We got him up early today and he hasn't had his breakfast.
We woke him up early, he hasn't had his brekkie, he hasn't had his coffee.
I keep thinking to myself, where's my coffee and my chocolate croissant?
Maybe on the way back.
Where is the catering crew on this film, Trent? That's what I want to know. Where are they? Obviously they didn't catch up with us.
You can see why we started fasting. It's easier than cooking.
I'll say.
I'll have to have a word with the catering.
I don't want any more weight in this bag. Alrighty, swim time?
Let's go for a snorkel, yeah. Well, goodbye, Madfish Bay. And we're gonna walk all the way back to Green Pools, where we've left the car.
Found yourself a seat.
Yeah, the one rock here, perfectly situated, looking at the ocean. I feel like this is a contemplation chair.
It is.
Sit here, we have that nice little pool in front of you. If you were camping here, this would be where you come to have your brekkie and stuff, I reckon.
Yes. Perfect table for
Very
a
cool.
seat.
Although the only problem is, it does look like birds have the same idea, so you've got to share your seat with some bird food. Coming through this little like sneaky thing that opens out to the beach, never gets old. I love it. And what better way to finish off the day than one of our favourite hangouts, Boston Brewery and Willoughby Wines, for a few sundowners and live music. It does not get better than this.
So a really cool thing about Boston is that it's a brewery, but as you can see, it's also a winery. So if you're coming, you're not really into beer, but your friends are, then the wine is awesome too.
Different in their eyes. Wait, there's so wrong in so many ways. If they just wait a second to say, and I will tell you that I'm beautiful, you're beautiful to me. Let's be friends, see, easy as that. 1, 2, 3, just breathe with me, in and out, you'll see how easy life can be, how easy life can be.
Right here at the Boston Brewery, we're doing this properly, you can't stop this musically, cause we're coming off the top of the flow, off the dome when we rock.
Once again, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's a little different from our usual traveling videos, but we'll get back to that in the next episode. Cheers.
Stage, we're keeping it groovy, never need the rage, yeah, getting loosely with my loose limbs, cause I like to dance to the nice vibe, that's how it goes, yo, with the flow so homegrown, that's how it's like.